We got the big tall boy versus the big round boy. Yeah, there it is. And the big round boy. Oh god, this is even worse than what I created before. Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Seeing as you guys like weird and wacky designs, you have come to the right video, because this is going to be the battle of the most hideous ships you have probably seen on my channel. We're going to have the British battleship against the Russian battleship, but they both have a quirk and they both have a different design philosophy. The British designed a ship around draft. They wanted to see across the oceans from miles and miles and miles. So what they did was create a ship with 500% draft. It has a bit of a... well, it should have enough seakeeping capabilities, because this ship is likely not to get any waves coming across the deck. This little ship over here has 322,000 tons of displacement, costs 2.5 billion, and comes equipped with 12 20-inch guns. She has a, yeah, don't believe it or not, she has a secondary armament of 6-inch guns. The British believe in comfort. That's why the ship has spacious quarters, giving the crew room to house 36,000 crew members. I'm not sure exactly what they're all doing, but this thing doubles as a floating city. It is not going to be a slow ship either. She's doing 27 knots, and from across the world, she can probably see most of the things, considering that her radar is probably this high up, and she has radar rangefinder tier 3. She comes equipped with autoloaders, electro-hydraulic turrets, stereoscopic rangefinders, and these 20-inch shells of her hit hard with capped ballistic tier 2 shells. In case you're wondering, is this thing protected? Because it might be a floating city. You might be able to see it from halfway across the world. So you're probably going to be able to hit it from halfway across the world. Well, yeah, we're going to protect it with 25 inches of main belt, forebelt, and aft belt armor. Is something going to hit the rest of the city superstructure? Potentially, but don't worry. We have 25 inches of armor there as well, at 120% armor quality. So all of these armor values are essentially more than doubled. This is a pretty big ship. But you ain't seen nothing yet. Because the Russians thought, you know what? That's a funny idea. Using 500% draft. But I think we can do you one different. And they created the Novgorod. The Novgorod uses 500% draft. It is far slower than the British warship at 21 knots. It does span a little bit bigger than the dockyard, so they had to design this thing on a secretive dock facility that cannot be disclosed. But they were able to launch the Novgorod, coming in at 327,000 tons out of a potential 329,000. Her firepower is far more substantial than that of the British warship. She has a turret and one X turret, and a couple of wing turrets. These are all 20 inches. She doesn't have secondary armament because you don't need secondary armament on a platform this big. Her potential weak spot is torpedoes, because I could not for the life of me fit a torpedo belt onto her. If you go for anti-torp 1, you're immediately looking at 7,000 tons, which, in retrospect, for a ship that's 300,000 tons is actually a steal. But if you want to go all the way to anti-torp 5, you're going to be looking at 362,000 tons. So a total of about 30 to 40 tons of armor belt. The Russians, like the British, have a pretty large crew. This ship is crewed by 31,588 sailors. The ship is, just like the British, armed with heavy armor-piercing shells, which are propelled by TNT-5. That's the charge. They have triple base propellant. They load pretty quick at a 54-second reload. And, well, she's going to be a bit of an easy target, and I think the easiest way to sink this thing is just to drop a nuke on it. Is she protected? Why, yes, of course she is. 25-4, 25 main, 25 superstructure. I actually have no idea if these guys are going to be able to sink each other. It's going to be all sorts of weird and wonky. I wonder if the game is going to be able to simulate these ships properly, as I have not yet tested this, so this should be good. Also, look at this. Battle stations crew. We got 19,000 people using or controlling main tower, secondary tower funnels. That's how many people work in the main tower. I don't think so. The guns are worked by 12,000 sailors and officers. So, yeah, we got a lot of people working in these turrets. Right. Here goes the Battle of the Behemoths. Let's see what ship will win this one. They're starting out at 25 kilometers. We got the big tall boy versus the big round boy. Yeah, there it is. And the big round boy. Oh god, this is even worse than what I created before. In case you want to know how I did this, you can see a link down below in the description on how to edit your save files. I kind of wouldn't recommend it because it looks hideous, the devs will hate you for it, and if you overdo it, it can probably break your game, causing you to have to delete that file. I hope that this thing has bow thrusters, otherwise it's probably not going to be able to turn. It is already opening up with its stern turrets, as the rest of the turrets are turning around. And I wouldn't be surprised if the ship is going to be able to fire pretty much with all of its guns. Which is unique, considering it's not even broadside. Let's see. Because the A turret there... Wow, partial pens even. The A turret might be able to fire over the superstructure. No. It's one of the wing turrets. Just, if you want to sink this thing, drop a nuke on it and be done with it. It's the easiest way to go about things. Blocked. Yeah, go figure. Repulsive is what I called the British warship. Repulsive, I think, believe it or not, is actually the more reasonable ship. She has already taken some damage. She's down at 97% high structural integrity. She's lobbing back high explosive. And by some miracle, at 25,000 meter range, sorry, 29,000 meter range, I still only have a 36% chance to hit. You'd think that I would be able to pen that, or to at least hit that, but no. Ship is unidentified, so I can't see if I can pen it. I can see if it can pen me. It can! At this range, it is not the belt armor. That's going to be the problem. It's the deck armor. So we're going to launch armor-piercing shells off of the deck of the Repulsive. Ideally onto the deck of the Novgorod. But I think Novgorod's firepower is just way, way more. It ricochets. Probably ricochet right off the belt armor. Yeah. The Repulsive. And this is actually a pretty interesting situation. Repulsive is this floating wall. It's propelled by artificial propellers, which you cannot see. They're classified because these things are for show. To distract the enemy and think that they can actually hit that as a target. Now, this ship has supposedly been hit on the deck. Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of deck pens, but for deck pens, my belt is looking awfully battered. So, this is what I mean with you can break the game. The game doesn't quite understand what you're trying to build, because 500% draft is not supposed to be possible. At any rate, I have been taking quite a beating here with the Repulsive. That's a wordplay on repulse, in case you hadn't figured it out. And I have been able to do a little bit of damage here, but really, it's 20-inch armor, sorry, 25-inch armor, effectively 50 plus. And my 20-inch shells, 20-inch armor-piercing shells, are ricocheting off of the target. That's how bad this thing is. One thing I didn't quite consider is that I can't turn very well with this ship. I mean, on paper, I got a turning circle of 843. Effectively, probably a little more. But I think it's even worse for the Novgorod. I have no idea what her turning circle is, but it's probably pretty hideous. What? We're out of range? Maximum range, 39. How far away are you? 40. Yeah, I think the Novgorod is going to have some trouble turning around. Still, look at this chonker of a ship. Just imagine what you can do with all of that deck space. I think you can put more secondary guns on this ship than the game will allow you to. And these are 20-inch turrets, which look fairly lackluster on this hull. Yeah, we're gonna need to get into range. Well, we are turning. Slowly. 40 kilometers out. I want to know what that turning circle is in Novgorod. That's going to be interesting. 80% ID. As if you would need time to ID the biggest warship in the world. Range 40.4, 43, yep. We're getting closer. I'm just concerned that Repulsive is not going to actually be able to do any damage before she takes too much deck damage herself. Come to think of it, I probably shouldn't have armored Novgorod as much as I did. Because her belt is not that much of a problem. And what's your turning circle? Yeah. Right. Acceleration. Nothing. It doesn't accelerate. It gets launched out of the slipway and it's still using the momentum that it got from that launch. That's the only thing that makes sense. Yeah, we're in range. Open up. Armor piercing. Because HE is not in range yet. Go on. Get me some damage. Hello? Oi! Why are you shooting me? What the fuck? Holy, look at that. Why are you not shooting? Thank you. 0% chance to hit? How? That thing is the size of a small moon. Target large size, 3000%. Yeah. Their chance to hit me is 69%, which is nice for them, but what sort of modifier do I get? 4200? What the hell? So the game thinks that draft is more important than beam? That's interesting to know. That's really interesting. I thought that something the size of a small moon, like Novgorod, would be easier to hit. But it's not. Something like a wall in the ocean is easier to hit. Oh, there we go, 35%. I think the Repulsive barely stands a chance here. But that's mostly due to her lack of guns. It's just going to be her lack of guns that's the problem. Because at this rate, I can fire 6 shells every 48 seconds. And I get about, well, on a good day, she can fire all of her turrets. But let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 guns. She can fire 16 guns back every minute. So yeah, I'm probably not going to win this fight. Novgorod has already lost about 200 sailors, but I think for Repulsive it's even worse. I lost about 1,000. You can see just as the ship is burning, I keep losing more and more and more crew. This thing fires very, very often. 67% chance to hit. Range, 34 clicks. Yeah, I think the Brits had it wrong. Partial pen. Wow. I think the Brits had it wrong. It is not about the draft. It is not about being able to see far. You need to be able to just take hits and just have a lot of guns on your platform. And that's what Novgorod does. That is not what the Repulsive does. Ow, ow, ow. I think the Novgorod's just firing HE at me. And it is effective, because larger parts of the ship are on fire than I would like. And look at the fires. This ship has maximum bulkheads. She has improved anti-flooding. She has a veteran crew, which would also boost your damage control by 60%. But the fire damage is about 20% of what I have taken in total. That's pretty impressive. And yes, it is 20-inch high explosive, so it is not likely to be any small impact. And one impact will set a lot of fires, but still. Novgorod is still 88%. Something else I'm curious about. What does it look like when this thing sinks? Right? Sinking this is probably going to take a while. Because it'll... I don't know, it'll slip beneath the waves. Usually it still has some momentum. Especially 322,000 tons has momentum. So it's likely that it'll take days to sink. How expensive is that? Wow, okay. Novgorod is cheaper as well. Novgorod is 2 billion. Repulsive is 2.5 billion, 2.6 billion. Interesting. I think it might also have to do with the amount of crew. She has spacious quarters, she doesn't need to. The Russians don't believe in that. They have standard crew quarters. And crew generally is pretty expensive. Novgorod is running a little low on high explosive shells because I thought she'd be firing armor piercing. She's just not. Now, I wonder, if I start this crazy battle at shorter range, do I have a benefit as the Repulsive? Or not? Let's find out, shall we? Let's find out. Because I'd say at longer range, the Novgorod very clearly wins this fight. Alright, new round. Novgorod versus Repulsive. 10,000 meter range start. Oh god, I'm full broadside to 20-inch guns at 11 kilometers. But so are they. I just don't know if I can actually find any belt to pen. Let's see. All these guns are turning. They might be able to get 3 turrets to fire. So that is better for Repulsive. Not necessarily great, but better. That's the 6-inch guns. They barely register. This range, we're going to fire armor piercing first. Go on, Repulsive. Nobody asked for this ship, I know. Still curious. Why? Just why? Oh, that's not the question you should be asking. The question is, why not? Doink! Is that doing some damage? Yeah, a little bit. Main deck? How? How are you giving your 20-inch shells such an arc that you're actually going through the belt? Oh, sorry, through the deck. Let's see, how much pen do I have at 10 clicks? 50 inches. That's not enough. I need more. I need more damage. Oh. Well, we got some hits. Main belt, deck. Okay. Wow. Impressive. Yet, once again, I think Repulsive is just not having the firepower that she needs. Although, no, actually, I could be wrong about that. Because I think there are 3 turrets firing at me. I think the 4th, the X turret's not firing. So she too is using 12 20-inch guns. High explosive salvo, let's go. Let's see if we can torch this thing. Block, 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 block. Are you kidding? Main tower damaged? Main tower has 25 inches of armor. Superstructure. What the hell? Oh dear. We appear to have misplaced a turret. We're flooding. Ship is on fire. Or, as Dracunifel put it so beautifully, disagreeable. Fantastic understatement. So that little flash fire stunt cost me about 50% structural integrity. Doesn't matter. From here, I still have a 100% chance to pen. Oh, sorry, to hit, not to pen. Could we please do some damage to this crazy ship? No. We can't. You just can't. Okay. This thing just refuses to sink. It's taken some... Okay. Despite the fires that I have tried to set, I've only done effectively 55 damage with fires. That is it. My fire damage has been 137 on Repulsive, but it is once again a clear winner as the Novgorod just completely reduced this thing to scrap. It just doesn't stand a chance, this British design. This is crazy. Huh. Okay, well, I guess this is decided. The next video, coming tomorrow, is going to be to decide, or to see rather, if I can engage and neutralize the Novgorod with a couple of torpedo boats, or maybe a lot of torpedo boats. Let's say that the Russians built the Novgorod as is, and the British decide to do an attack on it with torpedo boats. I might have to go for some slightly older tech and just swarm the Novgorod, but seeing as she has no anti-torpedo protection, like none, this should be interesting. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this crazy battle, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next one.